Dad and me love a whole lot of history. We could be the greatest team that the world has ever seen. Dad and me love a whole lot of history.
Hello everybody.
And welcome to Dad and Me Love History.
We're delighted to be joined by our favourite Egyptologist, and everybody should have one, Malayna Evans. Hi Malayna.
Hi Dad, hi James.
Hello, today we're asking, was Tutankhamun's dad Loopy?
Yeah, so we're going to find out just how crazy King Tutankhamun's family was, especially his dad. But first, tell us why you became an Egyptologist, Malayna.
Well, by the time I was about James's age, I was a pretty serious bookworm. First I thought I wanted to study Rome, then Greece, and then I studied Mesopotamia, and then I met my true love and landed on ancient Egypt.
Have you been to Egypt?
I have been to Egypt.
Cool. So you're here today to tell us about the family of King Tutankhamun, who ruled Egypt over 3,000 years ago. And Malayna has written a book called Jagger Jones and the Mummy's Ankh.
Check it out on MalaynaEvans.com. So why was King Tut famous?
He was about 9 when he took the throne, and sadly he was about 19 when he died. But he's not famous because of that. He's mostly famous because his tomb was discovered intact. They discovered it, and it was exactly how it was when he was buried, with all the tomb goods and so forth in it. It was discovered in the 20s, so a little over 100 years ago, and it hadn't been destroyed. So it's pretty amazing for us. We don't have anything else like it.
What's so amazing about it?
Well, mostly it's amazing because the stuff is all there, which is really rare for something 3,000 years old. And it was stuffed with treasures. It's like it has his Senate board, which is an ancient Egyptian board game, and his beautiful golden burial mask. It has his canopic jars, which are 4 jars that held his internal organs from when he was mummified. He even had a chariot in it.
Wow.
What did King Tut say when he had a nightmare?
I don't know. What did King Tut say when he had a nightmare?
I want my mummy.
So Tut had a dad, right?
In fact, Tut did have a dad, yes he did. And his dad was a unique character. Tut's dad's name was Akhenaten. And while ancient history is really long, Akhenaten does stand out as perhaps the most unusual, bizarre character in all of ancient Egyptian history.
So it sounds like a bit of a weird dad. I bet you're pleased you don't have a weird dad, James.
But you are a weird dad.
Thank you. Malayna, what did he do that was weird anyway?
Well, first, he tried to replace the worship of Egypt's traditional gods and goddesses with just one god, the Aten, who was shown as a sun disk with these creepy rays and claws at the end of his hands. Egypt had loads of gods and goddesses, and they played all sorts of different roles in societies. But he tried to get folks to worship the sun disk rather than their old gods and goddesses.
And so, how did people feel about that, the ordinary Egyptians?
Well, they probably didn't like it very much. That there'd been many generations of going to using their gods as resources. If you needed money, if you wanted to have a baby, they were resources in people's lives. And suddenly the pharaoh expected you to worship this god. They didn't have the stories and the history.
What else did he do?
Well, he moved the capital city, which had always been in either Thebes or Memphis, to the middle of nowhere. And guess what he named the new town?
I'd have called that city Tut Town.
Well, his dad, Akhenaten, called it Akhet-Aten, but his son, Tut, abandoned the site early in his reign.
Did you hear about the 10th mummy?
No.
He was all wound up.
A bit stressed.
So where was this capital city?
Well, Tut moved the capital back to Thebes, where it had been before, and he also changed his own name. Originally, his name was Tutankhamun, which means the living image of the Aten, and he restored the god Amun to his traditional spot as the boss of the Egyptian gods.
We love history. We love history, baby. We love history.
My favorite thing about the period, the Amarna period it's called, is the artwork. In my book, which is set in this time, I say that the artwork is like a colorful cubist painting stuck in a black and white photo gallery. It's very different than the rather static, similar artwork of the rest of the periods.
Cubism? Oh, we did that in a previous episode. We did an episode, was Picasso a genius?
If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. 1,000 times. 1,000 times. 1,000 times. Yes, he was.
I'm with James. I think that's right. Amarna art was very curvy, and it had a lot of colors, and the paintings had things like people hugging and kissing.
Closer look, closer look, closer look.
Akhenaten himself is shown as sort of this weird-looking guy. He has a kind of egg-shaped head and this big bulging belly, which is particularly bizarre because pharaohs were always painted to look perfect, even though we can guess they weren't all perfect looking in real life.
Who did the mummy take to the school prom?
I don't know. Don't look at me.
His ghoul friends.
His ghoul friend.
I bet King Tutankhamun had a super cool mum.
Sorry about that. How'd you go?
You'd think the fact that we called our podcast series Dad and Me Love History would make Mom get the hint.
I'm all for the girl power. Akhenaten, his top wife, because pharaohs had lots of wives, her name was Nefertiti, but she was not Tut's mother. Around 2008, a team used DNA to figure out that one of Akhenaten's sisters was probably Tutankhamun's mother.
Hold on. King Tut's dad married one of his own sisters and she had a baby.
Yeah, that's just how they rolled in ancient Egypt, but only the king. It was very common for royals to marry within their family.
What do you think about that, James?
Weird, and extra weird.
Yes.
Yeah, well, if you think that's weird, wait till you find out that Tut himself married one of his sisters, a princess named Ankhesenpa.
Oh, man.
Why didn't the mummy think he was scary?
Don't know.
He was in denial. Like the Nile.
Oh, it was in the Nile. Denial.
The Amarna period is kind of unique in how important the princesses were, but not so much the princes. Akhenaten and Nefertiti had lots of daughters, and the eldest princess, Meritaten, who is a main character in my book, played a very important role in the court. You can find images of the princesses of Amarna all over the world. They're these beautiful, colorful, unique pictures. And it seems like maybe what the pharaoh was doing was using his daughters to sort of replace the goddesses he'd, kind of gotten rid of. But the boys, Tut and his older brother Smenkhare, who ruled for like a hot minute before Tut, were kind of ignored. They just don't show up in the artwork, in the royal artwork like the princesses did.
We're going to have to check out that artwork. In fact, we'll make sure it's on our website by the time this episode goes out. So what does Princess Meritaten get up to in your book?
Well, hey, James, is there any chance you like Harry Potter?
I love it.
Me too. And Meritaten is a little bit like the Hermione of ancient Egypt in my book. She's the most powerful magician in generations. And she's also kind of a rebel. She worships the old gods in spite of her dad's efforts. And her sister, just younger than her, the little sister whose name is very similar, Meketaten, really did die around this time. So, of course, she has to die in my book. But Meritaten summons Jagger back in time to save her little sister's afterlife because her dad's creepy general has stolen Meketaten's ka, which is sort of like a soul, and he's going to use it to destroy the royal family. So, Jagger, this kid from Chicago, has to figure all that stuff out. But fortunately, he's a very, very clever kid, and he has a sassy little sister, and she packs some cool stuff in her purse that comes in very handy.
Would you like a sassy or clever little sister, James?
No,
Why not?
because she'll be cleverer than me.
Oh. Hey, back to Tut. When Tut was king, did he keep the changes his dad had made?
Nope. Tut himself began dismantling his dad's effort. He moved the court back to Thebes, and before too long, the rulers even took down monuments and statues of Akhenaten, and they destroyed and hid them, or they would remove his name from his monuments. Eventually, his name was even removed from the official list of all kings, which basically listed every king. So whenever Akhenaten was mentioned, he was referred to as that enemy or that criminal.
Oh, that seems a bit harsh.
Why did King Tut take his dad's name off, the list of kings?
Well, he was very young. It's not clear whether he himself made the choices to do this, but for whatever reason, whether it was his own opinion or whether he was pressured by other people, he tried to restore Egypt to the traditional kind of worship and all the traditions that his dad had tried to get rid of.
We love history. We love history, baby. We love history.
Just the tragedy that hits this family at the end of their 18th dynasty, at the end of their rule. Most of Tut's siblings died young. Of course, Tut did too, leaving his half-sister and wife, Ankhesenpa'aten, all alone.
What happened?
Yeah, what you mean? Why did Tut die when he was 19?
Well, that kind of depends on who you ask. Some people think he was murdered. Some think he died of an infection because it seems he had broken his leg not long before he died. Scholars even argue about how he broke his leg. Some people have argued it's a chariot accident. And there's also some evidence in his mummy of malaria. So basically, we're not entirely sure.
Well, thank you so much, Malayna, for telling us about Tutankhamun and his dad.
All right, you guys, thanks. It was super fun.
Thank you.
That was awesome, you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So, James, was King Tutankhamun's dad Loopy?
No, but Tutankhamun was Loopy.
So you think Tutankhamun was Loopy, and his dad was a little bit Loopy?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, so you think his son was crazier? What makes you say that?
Because he erased his names from the kings, and he did kind of copy his dad from marrying his sister.
Oh, I see. Yeah, marrying sister like his dad did could have just been copying his dad. And like you said, he erased or got rid of his dad's name from all the temples and all the history of Egypt.
That's almost it from Dan and me. Hey people, don't forget to write us a review and share this pod on Facebook
And Instagram.
and Twitter.
Give the lives of your friends a free upgrade. Tell them about
Dad and me love history. Dad and me love a whole lot of history. We could be the greatest team that the world has ever seen. Dad and me love a whole lot of history.
So James has abandoned me. He's gone off on camp after we recorded that episode. So today's questions, and we got 6 of them, all come from me. Number 1. How many thousands of years ago was it when Tutankhamun was Egypt's pharaoh? Number 2. What was inside Tutankhamun's tomb? Number 3. Which city did Tutankhamun move the capital back to after his dad had moved it away? Number 4. In what ways was Egyptian art from the Amarna period like Picasso's art? Number 5. True or false? Tut's mum was also his aunt. Number 6. Last question. In what ways did King Tut, or Tutankhamun, try to erase his father from history?
Let me do something with my dog. Paul.
Okay.
Let me start to cry.
Baby.
He's on. Let's go. Sorry. That dog. Okay.
No worries. Joanne, sorry, I forgot to. Can you come in for 10 seconds, please?
Game.
How was the game? It was a really, really good game. Yeah, his team won 4-3 in the last minute. Brilliant.
Good job, James. That's an exciting game.
Serious?
Oh, I can't move.
Okay, we're done, Joe. We're done.
Are we still recording?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
we
true.
are.
We're still recording on a few different. Oh no, that's good.
Banana, bananas, rock. Bananas, bananas, rock. Bananas, bananas, rock.
What are the words to this song?
I don't know. Do we do nut brain?
Nut brain, nut brain, you are a nut brain.
Nut brain.
Nut brain.
Nut.
Nut.
Brain.
Oh, I always get that bit wrong.